Hello everyone, it's Matt from Akuma Mods, back with our review of the Anycubic Wash and Cure Station Plus, or Wash and Cure Plus Station, however you want to say it. Either way, so I saw a bunch of people out there using this, and I was like, you know what, I need to upgrade because this is what I'm currently working with, and while that worked, it only worked for smaller printers. Now, when I say smaller printers, things like the Elegoo Mars series 1, 2, and pretty much even 3 that'll be coming out. The Frozen Sonic Mini, the Elegoo, or I'm sorry, the Creality LD-002R, the LD-002H, Hellet 1, things like that. Voxel Proxima, Longer Orange, all those are smaller printers. Even the Photon Mono, those are very, very small printers. That will work for this size. Now, as you can see, there is quite a sizable difference between these two. So they have made a lot of updates to it. Obviously, this is version 1. I don't even have the version 2 of the smaller wash and cure station. But in terms of like what you can use for amount of washing, that's what really where this station is going to shine, because obviously we're working nowadays with medium-sized printers, seem to be the standard, community standard now. So we need something that's bigger to wash and cure our prints. But I have run into some issues, and we'll go through that in a little bit. More or less, it's just one big issue that I've seen that could be a game changer depending on what you guys are printing with. So, and I'll show you in a little bit, but we'll just go through some various changes and updates and why you should really get a larger wash and cure station. First and foremost, obviously most of you people are going to be switching over to medium-sized printers, so you will need something of this size, because while this will work for smaller prints, if you're doing something that's a large print, something like this is not really going to fit in there too well. And you might be able to just be okay with it, but I have even larger printers now, and you print stuff like this. This is a full face mask. This obviously is just barely going to fit in there. Now, with you putting it in a wash bucket, that's not really going to fit too well. Kind of takes up the whole thing. So while you can maybe get away with it, going to be kind of hard putting that in there and getting it washed properly. So you really need something that's of this size to make sure that it's properly washed. So some updates that they've done for it that I really, really like is they put an LED on the top here that you can rotate up and down, so you can get that direct light from the top as well. Whereas like the previous version, as you guys saw, I kind of modified it a little bit with that reflective tape on the inside, okay? So while it probably just barely helped, it's just nice to know that I got coverage everywhere on that. Whereas this, they already have a small piece of reflective, I guess, tape or plastic. It's not even tape, because it's completely removable. But they have that. They have updated the build plate with more like a perforated build plate. This allows for the resin prints to kind of stick on it. I'll show you guys. You see how that's all like perforated a little bit? So that's kind of nice that they do that. And there are some drip holes on the side here, if you guys can see that. Like there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So they have 4 drip holes. So in case there's any excess that needs to be dripped off of the plate, you can go ahead and do that, even though you really should not be curing a print while it's still dripping with whatever washing liquid you're using. It should be completely dry by the time it hits this curing station. But as I stated before, there is one big issue with this, and that comes to the washing part. Well, I absolutely love what they've done with the washing part. They've obviously upgraded the bucket to, pretty much twice its size. The original held 3,500 max. This one holds 8,500 max. Now, I have played around with this, and the reason why this is full, usually I don't have these buckets full. I usually have them to about 5,000 on this one. On the old one, it was about 2,000-ish, so about halfway. But the reason why I did this is because I wanted to make sure I was testing it and not just having like a user error type effect, or just an effect that, there wasn't enough washing liquid in it. But I'll show you exactly what we're having a problem with. So, as I said, they have upgraded this. There is a larger spinning wheel on this that is much, much better. But the problem is it's too overpowering. So the basket is nice and upgraded. There are still some larger holes on it, so I will probably have to end up printing some sort of a diffuser. But they kind of, thought about this a little bit. So you can put this up, turn it, and have it sit there and just kind of drip off the plate. So that's really, really nice that they have that. They kind of eliminated the holding for the drip. That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. Now, me personally, I don't really use the build plate drip function because it can start to have effects on the build plate, especially if people are using things like the Epax E10. That has an injection molded top, and the plate is actually bonded to it with some sort of adhesive. So over time, if you keep dipping that build plate in there, it's going to deteriorate that bond, and it'll literally just fall apart, and you'll be like, I don't know what happened. Well, that's what happened. So, just like the original wash and cure station, you do not want to use water in this. You do not want to use Simple Green in this. Those will deteriorate the bearings. It will deteriorate the spinner on there. And even Simple Green will do the same thing, and it'll even go a step further by actually eating it away. So really this is meant for like IPA and other type of abrasive washes that you're going to use. But in my experience, water and Simple Green and Mean Green, those three ingredients, like, they do not work very well in this. So I specifically use Denatured Alcohol. It's by far the best cleaner that I've used, no matter what's on the market. That's just my experience on that. So without further ado, let's show you exactly what happened. So I have a couple small models here that I decided to just throw in here. They've already been washed and cured. They've been sitting around for a little while, but I just wanted you guys to see exactly what my experience is with this. Now, some of these might be okay, but I know some of them will have an issue. So for you guys that are doing like miniatures and things that have very, very thin pieces of plastic on it, staffs and swords and things like that, this is what you're going to want to pay attention to, because we do have an issue here. So the sound is still pretty loud. It's just about as loud as my old wash and cure station. I thought maybe by now they might put different drivers in it to see if they can bring it down, but it's not terribly bad. So I don't know if you guys can hear that kind of like rattling around or even see it. I wish this was a little more clear, but as you can see, I have small parts in there and they're just kind of running around. So obviously these parts still slip through the grates. That's why I got to print a diffuser just like I did on this original one. But that's one issue. And secondly, the wash part is too powerful for it. So if you have smaller models or miniatures, this is not going to be the wash and cure station you want. It's really going to be problematic for you because they get sloshed around and they get banged left and right, and then it switches motion and it bangs left and right on that side. So it does pose a problem for you people who are going to be printing smaller prints. Now, when it comes to larger prints, this is really where the Anycubic wash and cure station is going to shine because, well, it's specifically designed for larger stuff. So when when you need that heavier duty wash, you have it there. So that's about the biggest downside of this wash and cure station that I found so far. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward compared to the original wash and cure station. So, but that's really about it. If you can see past that, okay. Like I said, I'm gonna try and design some sort of a bottom diffuser, much like I did with the original one. It's just basically a PLA printed insert. and it kind of diffuses the cycling a little bit. So while it may take away a little bit of the washing effect, if you're doing miniatures and things like that, it might be more beneficial for you. As I usually state, I really shouldn't be having to modify a machine to fit my needs, but that's kind of how everything in life is, whether it be a car person or somebody who's doing painting or construction, whatever. You find your little thing here and there. So it just kind of comes with the territory. It's not something I really like to have because I wish it would just add it right out of the box. But, it is what it is. So it's not, I don't think it'll be the end of the world, but we'll have to do some more testing with the, when I make the diffuser for it. And again, it'll just be like a removable thing that sits in this little basket. And that way we can go ahead and get it taken out. And if we need to have more washing power for larger prints, we have that ability. But as of right now, it's a really, really nice setup. It fits stuff very, very well. As you can see, that fits in there pretty good. And that's a full-size mask. And then we'll wash it. So the other feature that I like about this over the original one, I'm not sure if the version 2 original, smaller version, has the same thing. But if I set this to like 6 minutes, it will stop every 2 minutes and re-rotate. So that's a really, really nice thing because that allows you to get the most washing on the parts that you are needing washing. So the chances of you coming out with a print that's still sticky or has some chalky white substances on it, dried resin basically, is very, very slim. It doesn't really happen that I've seen so far with this printer. Now, I've had that happen a couple times with this printer, but that could also been the fact that it was bad resin, but, at least for the chalky white substance. Sticky prints, I've definitely had that before where I've actually had to cure inside of that wash bin. And I haven't had to do that yet with any of these prints, but we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that's a consistent thing or not, or if that's just a luck of the draw type thing, or my settings are just golden right now. So we'll have to play around with it. But for the most part, it is a very, very good buy. I will leave an affiliate link down below for the Amazon store if you guys want to purchase one of these. Anytime you buy anything through that affiliate link, whether it be 3D printing related to, USB drive to tools, whatever it may be, anything that you guys purchase through there, I get a little bit of kickback. It's not much, but hey, maybe it'll buy me a bottle of resin 1 month. That's $40. That's pretty cool. But that's about the most I usually see on there is maybe $40. Usually it's about 35. So I'm just telling you guys up front. I don't really make money off of it. It's not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a millionaire from doing this. No, I'm not. It's just something I throw out there. I'm not going to force you guys to buy through there, but if you do, that's great. It helps support the channel so I can get some more stuff to, create some more content with. And yeah, so. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below. I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time, happy printing.